Good evening and welcome to the campus of Honeoye Falls-Lima, where tonight we have Class B Section 5 football live on the Sentinel. I'm Peter Carosa, broadcasting live from James Dollard Athletic Stadium, where the visiting Rochester Prep Tigers come to the home Honeoye Falls-Lima Cougars for the last regular season game of the year. The Rochester Prep Tigers come in tonight's contest sitting at a 1-5 record, while the HFL Cougars sit at a 2-5 record. As you can see on your screen, the HFL Cougars have just come out of their home tunnel and are ready for tonight's kickoff. It's a chilly one tonight, 48 degrees, mostly cloudy. We expect rain at some point during tonight's game, which will lead into tonight's keys to the game, brought to you by Bullfinch Fund. Invest right here. With our first key to the game, weather conditions. There is, as I mentioned, some inclement weather expected at some point during tonight's game, so making sure ball security and paying attention to how the weather can impact the play is going to be paramount for both teams. And speaking of turnovers, mistake-free football is another key to tonight's game, making sure everyone's got two hands on the football and making smart decisions. And then the last key to the game, as I mentioned, this is the last regular season game of the year. Both these teams will be playing in 2 weeks in the semifinal round for the Section 5 Class B sectional tournament. So staying healthy, making sure that everyone is 100% going into the bye week and then into the first round of playoffs. So the visiting Rochester Prep Tigers are still warming up on the field, waiting for them to wrap that up. Then they'll be able to meet with the officials, and then we can get ready for kickoff. As I mentioned, about a couple minutes away from kickoff as Rochester Prep makes their way to their respective sideline. So Rochester Prep, this is their first game ever at HFL. The two have played each other over the last couple years. Rochester Prep is a newer program. This is their third season with a varsity team. And they've made their first trip out here to the village of Honeoye Falls for tonight's game. Special edition of Section 5 football on a Thursday here on the Sentinel. So we'll have the national anthem played here before the game gets started. We'll have a rendition sung by the Honeoye Falls Select Choir on the broadcast.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And with that, we are ready for the coin toss between these two teams. As I mentioned, they will both be playing in the Class B sectional tournament. Only 4 Class B teams this year: Monroe, Batavia, HFL, and Rochester Prep. So all 4 teams will make the tournament, and they will enjoy a bye week next weekend as the captains come out for the respective squads. For Rochester Prep, it's Jameer Doyle-Spearman, number 11, number 12, Christopher Holmes, and number 51, Jose Cole. For HFL, captains are Nate Meacham, August Youngstrom, Luca Menz, and Patrick Adair. And there's the coin toss. It looks like the Tigers have won and deferred. So they will kick off to HFL to start us here this evening.
Okay, I think we should be good.
Take this opportunity to introduce tonight's officials, led by head referee David Cohen, Dan Dickens, Billy Bowe, Scott Engler, and Brian Labigan will be the officials for tonight's contest between the Tigers and the Cougars. As the HFL receiving team comes out on the field and the Tigers kickoff unit comes out onto the field. Teed up is number 2 for the Tigers, and it's a low kick. That'll be scooped up off the turf by HFL's Austin Coyle, and Coyle breaks the first tackle, and then the second defender, that's number 51, Jose Cole, he'll make the tackle. And out comes the HFL offense, and that'll give us a chance to look at this evening's player to watch for this HFL offense, brought to you by Bullfinch Fund. Invest right here. Player to watch, senior quarterback Nate Meacham enters the contest with 10 passing touchdowns, just shy of 1,000 passing yards, a 66 completion percentage, and a QB rating of 92. On first down, Meacham to hand off, goes to running back Finn, who drops the ball, and it's going to be recovered by the Tigers. So a turnover on the opening play gives Rochester Prep the ball, and so the HFL defense will be called out rather quickly. So that'll give us a chance to introduce tonight's defensive player to watch for the Cougars, brought to you by Bullfinch Fund, and that's defensive back Austin Coyle, who was named Player of the Week in Section 5 Class B for his performance last week. 5.5 tackles, 1 interception, and 1 pass defended. Ball goes over the quarterback's head for Rochester Prep. He's able to pick it up and just throw it away harmlessly out of bounds. So Rochester Prep able to avoid disaster there after the turnover by HFL. Quarterback went over this. The snap went over the quarterback's head. We'll get a chance here to look at the rest of the starting lineup for this HFL defense. Brought to you by Bullfinch Fund. Invest right here. Second and 10 now for the Tigers. Snap. Handoff goes to number 11.
Number 11 on the carry there.
Number 11 for the Tigers is Dravion Scott Harris.
For the Tigers. On the 29-yard line.
So it'll be 3rd and 6 now for the Tigers. Here's a snap. Handoff goes to Scott Harris, and he's going to be tackled in the backfield. That's number 56 for HFL, Blake Fisher, the outside linebacker, coming up and making the play. So they'll say it's a loss of 4, which will bring up a 4th and 10 situation for the Tigers. So for those who missed the first offensive play for HFL, there was a fumble recovered by Rochester Prep, and that has set them up with decent field position, but now they're facing 4th and 10 at the 34-yard line. Here's the snap. Quarterback to throw, lofts it up, and that one goes out of bounds, incomplete. So that'll be a turnover on downs and bring up 1st and 10 for HFL. That'll give us the opportunity to introduce the rest of the starting lineup for this HFL offense. Offensive line here for the Cougars, as well as some of the skill players. First and 10, Meacham collects a snap, handoff to Goodburlett. And Goodburlett gets up to the 40-yard line. Gain of about 7 yards there on first down. Take another look there. He's got Cal Grasley blocking in front of him, and he just falls ahead for a nice gain. On second down, handoff goes right back to Goodburlett. He'll get the first down and a couple. That first down brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. HFMP has a wide selection of locally fermented foods and vegan options to nourish a plant-based lifestyle. Check out their newly expanded selection after the game. So Ben Feinberg was called upon after Nate Meacham's concussion after their homecoming game. He ended up playing quarterback for HFL a couple weeks ago at East, and then reprised his Wildcat role against Monroe. Now with Meacham back 100%, he's kind of taken over a co-running back position with Brian Finn. Coming into tonight's contest, they each had about just over 70 carries on the season. Finn had the fumble on the opening possession, so they've elected to have Feinberg step in here on their second offensive possession. Nate Meacham from the gun collects a snap, goes to a wide receiver screen on the near side. This is Grady Goodburlett. He makes a man miss inside the 35-yard line. He's tackled by a group of Rochester Prep Tigers at about the 30-yard line, so that's good for another HFL first down, brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. The butchers at Honeoye Falls Marketplace cut your meat to order. It does not get any better than that. You can see on the replay August Youngstrom making some good blocks downfield for Goodburlett. So 1st and 10 for HFL from the 30. Handoff to Feinberg. Feinberg goes straight ahead, and he'll pick up about 4 yards on first down. can see Colin Bailey, the polling left guard, leading the way for Ben Feinberg on that play. The offensive line play for the Cougars in their last 3 games here has been pretty impressive. They've really come together as a group and have been able to win the battle up front, which has allowed HFL to run the ball quite efficiently in their last 2 games particularly. Snap, Meacham to throw, lofts it up in the direction of number 1, Austin Coyle. It falls incomplete, so it'll bring up 3rd and 6 for HFL. So the ball's sitting at about the 26-yard line. We'll call it 3rd and 6 for the Cougars. Potential 4-down territory. They do have a dangerous kicker in Ezra Gathercole. He's made 55-yarders in practice. Russ probably won't send him out unless it's under 50, as we have some pre-snap motion by the Tigers. So that'll give HFL 5 yards. So it'll bring up 3rd and short. On this 3rd and 1 play, they bring in the extra down lineman. That's freshman number 49, Johnny Gutierrez, in the tight end position on the right side. And they run that way. And here's Ben Feinberg straight ahead, bounces off a tackler, and he falls in towards the goal line. And they say he's going to be just shy of the touchdown. So it'll be 1st and goal for HFL. And that first down brought to you by HFMP, Honeoye Falls Marketplace, true blue local for over 40 years. So 1st and goal, and the Cougars bring in Brian Finn at the tailback position here. Here's the snap, handoff goes to Finn, and Finn should have enough, and he does. Brian Finn finds the Meehan Architecture end zone, and the Cougars strike first here with about 5:53 to go in the first quarter. HFL 6, UPrep 0. Here's the point after attempt for the Cougars. This is number 10, Ezra Gathercole. Kick is up, and kick is good. And Ezra Gathercole came into tonight's contest 20 for 20, and with that he stays perfect at 21 for 21 on the season. So we're just about halfway through this first quarter of play. After the fumble on their opening possession, HFL defense made a stand, forced a turnover on downs, and they marched down the field, particularly with their ground game, capped off by a Brian Finn touchdown from 1 yard out. So again, we will see Ezra Gathercole kicking, this time on a kickoff. And he's been able to do a little bit of everything on these kickoffs. He's gone deep, he's gone squib, he's done sky kicks. We'll see what he's got dialed up here. And it's a boot. And that's going to be caught in the air by number 11 for the Tigers. I believe that's Jameer Doyle Spearman. Or check that. I think that's Dravian Scott Harris, number 11. So Rochester Prep on their second offensive possession of the night. Here's the snap. This is Burgos Brock, the quarterback. He tossed one up, and it's just a little bit too far for Doyle Spearman.
A little bit over his head, so he comes down for the Tigers.
So coming out, the Tigers have passed, thrown the ball
Actually open, it looks like for us, so
on the majority of their offensive snaps.
and just reminded
They've ran the ball twice and now thrown 3 times. 2nd and 10 for Rochester Prep. Another high snap. Handoff goes to Scott Harris, and he'll lose a couple.
Harris on the carry, not much gain there. It's 3rd down.
We'll call it 3rd and 14 for the Tigers, crossing the 5-minute mark of this first quarter. Burgos Brock barking out some pre-snap audibles, able to collect this pass, rolls out to his right, waiting, throws it back in towards the field of play, and that's incomplete. Looked like it might have been in the neighborhood of Drevian Scott Harris. But the incompletion will lead to 4th and 14. And it looks like we have the punting unit coming out on the field for the Tigers.
Fisher on the coverage of the QB there for the Cougars. Punting unit out for the Tigers.
Looks to be number 5, Jaden Gibson, punting for Rochester Prep. Here's the snap. Ball's away. And that goes out of bounds in Rochester Prep territory. So the Cougar offense will have some decent starting field position here.
Out of bounds, right around the 37.
Looks like they're going to mark it out at the 38-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Cougars. And Grady Goodburlett, who returned to punt last week for a touchdown, was the punt rusher on that play and looked like he was just seconds away from maybe making contact with the ball. As Finn is the running back on this play. Handoff goes to Finn. And Finn drags a defender out towards the 32-yard line.
Left side. Second and short. Harris on the tackle.
And that was Scott Harris who had the legs of Finn wrapped up. Second down here for HFL. Again going with the 3-receiver set with the tight end. Meacham lofts one up towards the end zone, and that's caught by Grady Goodburlett, who strolls into the Meehan Architecture end zone. Cougars find the end zone again here in the first quarter. Can see just a little bit of a fake wide receiver screen there. And Meacham's able to find Goodburlett just outside the end zone at about the 5-yard line, drifting behind defenders. Cougars now 13 to Rochester Prep's 0. As Gathercole comes back out on the field to attempt this point after. Kick up. Kick is good.
It is good.
Here's another look at that touchdown. That is Meacham's 11th passing touchdown of the season. And that's Grady Goodberlet's 8th receiving touchdown. So the duo has been able to find each other quite a bit this fall.
Spearman and Harris are back for the Tigers.
So here's another kickoff by HFL. Ezra Gathercole with the ball teed up. Back deep is Doyle Spearman and Scott Harris, number 1 and number 11 for Rochester Prep. Still looking for their first down. They'll have a chance here on their 3rd offensive possession as a deep kick is going to bounce into the end zone for a touchback. So Tigers will begin this drive at the 20-yard line. As this Rochester Prep offense comes out on the field, their head coach, Eddie Long, he's in his 2nd season at the helm for the Rochester Prep Tigers. He played high school football at Greece Olympia. He's actually in the Section 5 Football Hall of Fame, was a standout running back in the early 90s. He also went on to play at UConn, and he previously coached at Bishop Kearney and Greece Olympia before coming here to Rochester Prep. First down, it's a pass here for the Tigers. And that ball is going to be towards the HFL sideline, incomplete.
Will Thomas down for the Tigers.
It was head coach John Russ for the Cougars who was able to get a hand on it. Second and 10 for Rochester Prep. Here's the handoff to Scott Harris. Made a juke move in the backfield, but he's going to be tackled for a loss. There was a group of them in the backfield. Looks like it was Chris Settles who made initial contact. The result on the play is a loss of about 2 yards, so it'll bring up 3rd and 12 for Rochester Prep. On 3rd down, Tigers to throw, and that's going to be intercepted going the other way. That's Benny Feinberg into the end zone for the Cougars. That's his 2nd interception on the season, but this time Benny Feinberg finds the Meehan Architecture end zone, and that extends this HFL lead. Just a curl route, and Feinberg jumps the pass and is able to scamper the 20-odd yards into the end zone. So HFL with a point after attempt here from the 2-yard line. This is Gathercole with the ball teed up. Kick is away, and it's good. So Cougars now sit at 21 points. We'll take another look here at the tremendous anticipation by Feinberg to telegraph that pass and then use his legs to do the rest. Met there in the end zone by senior defensive tackle August Youngstrom, who's had a heck of a season. And the Cougars find themselves out in front by 3 scores with about 2:23 to go in the first quarter.
Spearman and Harris are back for the Tigers. Gathercole getting ready to kick off for the Cougars.
Ezra with the ball teed up. And here's a line drive that bounces about the 20. Picked up by Scott Harris, works to the far sideline, trying to beat the corner. He'll end up with a decent return out towards the 30-yard line. So Gather Cole had put it at about the 20, and bit of a screw knuckleball. Unpredictable bounce there. Nice job by Scott Harris to field it and then use his speed to work the far sideline. So we'll see here on their fourth possession how Rochester Prep responds after the interception. And another high snap. And again, the quarterback, Burgos Brock, able to just throw it away harmlessly. And that is, a tremendous effort, because that obviously avoids any loss of yardage. So it'll be 2nd and 10 as opposed to 2nd and very long. Here's the Tigers on 2nd down. Handoff goes to Scott Harris to the far sideline, and it looks like he's got enough for the first down. Tackled hard by number 0, Chase Harrison, by the Cougars, but that'll be the first down of the game for Rochester Prep. Take another look here at the run by Scott Harris. And it was Austin Coyle who made initial contact, but Scott Harris was able to power through it, and Chase Harrison cleaned it up. So ball spotted at the 41 of Rochester Prep territory. And we've got a marker on the field before the play could get going. And the head official, David Cohen, marks it against Rochester Prep. So they'll move the ball back 5 yards. Bring up a 1st and 15 now for the Tigers. And it looks like we might have a delay of game penalty. We do have a delay of game against the Tigers, so that'll be another 5 yards. So we got about 30 seconds left here in the opening quarter. Here's a pass play for the Tigers. Burgos Brock will just throw that one to the far sideline in the direction of number 4. That's Thomas. Patrick Adair was the one pressuring the quarterback on that play. So it'll be 2nd and 20. Clock stopped at 21 seconds. And on 2nd down here, Rochester Prep will run the ball with Scott Harris. makes the first defender miss, and he'll get up past the 40-yard line. So he'll get all that penalty yardage back. So it'll be 3rd and 9. That could be and it will be, the last play of the first quarter. So we'll take a quick commercial timeout here before the start of the second quarter.
Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Fresh breads, donuts, special cakes made every day from scratch. Our butcher still cuts your meats to order. Doesn't get any better than that. Hot pizza, fish fries on Friday. Order your favorite sub right here. Organic foods and healthy choices. And beer, lots of beer. Honeoye Falls Marketplace. We're true blue local. Uncompromised quality close to home.
Tonight's game also brought to you by Bullfinch Fund. Fans who are sitting on IRA money that they don't know what to do with, or those who want to take control of their 401k money left at an old employer, should give Bullfinch a call at 624-3150. Did you know a working teenager can become a retirement millionaire just by starting a child IRA? Want to learn more? Call your local mutual fund, the Bullfinch Fund, at 624-3150. Tonight's game also brought to you by Meehan Architecture with Meehan Architecture Sports Update. The HFL boys soccer team is the 4th seed in the Class A sectional tournament, and they'll host the 5th seeded Wayne Eagles tomorrow night at 6:30 here at HFL. Good luck, boys. Meanwhile, the girls soccer team, the 10th seeded team in the Class A tournament, upseat the 7th seed Palmac Red Raiders in the first round on Wednesday. The girls will play at the 2nd-seeded Pittsford Sutherland Knights on Saturday. Good luck, girls. As we are ready to get this second quarter underway here, Rochester Prep facing a 3rd and 10. As the receiver for the Tigers goes a little early there. So that'll move the ball back 5 yards. So it becomes 3rd and 15. Here's the snap. Burgos Brock to throw. Tosses one up, and that's going to be caught by an HFL defender, but he's out of bounds. So that's an incomplete pass for Rochester Prep. So on 4th and very long, the Tigers elect to send their punt unit out on the field. Looks like Grady Goodburlett will be back deep to receive this kick on this punt. Ball's away, line drive kick. Takes a bounce at the 40, and Goodburlett lets it pass him. That rolls inside the 20-yard line, out of bounds at the 19. So it'll be 1st and 10 for HFL. But the ball will be deep inside their own territory when they start this offensive possession. So just under 11 here to go in the second quarter. Cougars had fumbled on their opening possession, but on every offensive possession after that, they've been able to score a touchdown. They also had a defensive score. We'll see what they have dialed up here on their next drive, as they have a new running back in the backfield. That's number 8, Sam Oliver, who gets the handoff. And he'll be tackled past the first down markers, so that'll be an HFL first down, brought to you by HFMP. At HFMP, 7 days of savings mean every day you save. Check out their website or circular for details of their daily deep discounted item. Sam Oliver's had a couple rushes this season. He came into the game with 7 rushes for 56 yards, and that was his 8th for a gain of about 10. Handoff goes back to Oliver. Oliver with some green space in front of him, up past midfield, where he'll be escorted out of bounds by Tyler Buford for Rochester Prep, and that'll be another first down. That first down brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Treat yourself every Saturday with a slow roasted prime rib dinner and all the fixins from HFMP for only $18.99 each. Oliver to the left of Meacham. Handoff goes to Oliver. Oliver stutter steps, jukes back inside, and he's got yet another first down. So 3 first downs in a row on the legs of Sam Oliver, and this first down brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace, HFMP. Big sub rolls from scratch every day so that every bite of an HFMP sub is bursting with flavor. As we have a timeout here called by Rochester Prep. That timeout brought to you by the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel. The MHFL Sentinel has been proudly providing local community news for 35 years, since 1989. The Sentinel is a weekly community print newspaper that has been proud to call this area their home. Sentinel newspapers make the perfect keepsake. So after the timeout here, Cougars will be starting a new set of downs, 1st and 10. Ball at the 30. And again, they've been running this heavy set offensive line, as we've got a penalty potentially in the neighborhood of too many men on the field, and that's what it is, as a Rochester Prep Tiger jogs off. So that'll be some free yards for this HFL offense.
Too many men for the Tigers.
First and 5 now for HFL. Oliver to Meacham's left. Meacham to throw. Passes it to Goodburlett, and Goodburlett's got enough for the first down. He'll be tackled out towards the 15-yard line. That first down brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Entertaining at your home, HFMP is the exclusive purveyor of wholly sustainable raised shrimp located in the frozen seafood department. So HFL now, 1st and 10, ball at the 15, in the red zone, trying to score for the 3rd time on offense. Their last score was a interception by Ben Feinberg. And here's the pitch play to Oliver. Oliver works to the near sideline, inside the 10, and he's going to be tackled at about the 6 or 7 yard line. About 7.5 to go here in the second quarter. And Sam Oliver's been the guy who's been moving the ball down the field for HFL on this drive. It'll be about 2nd and 2 for the Cougars. Oliver checks out of the game, and in comes Brian Finn. Finn had the first touchdown for the Cougars. And again, we have another penalty. Looks like it is going to be an HFL timeout. Play clock must have been winding down, and they were able to beat the delay a game penalty with a timeout. So it'll be HFL's first timeout of the half. Brought to you by the Sentinel. The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel has been proudly providing local community news for 35 years, since 1989. The Sentinel is a weekly community print newspaper that has been proud to call this area their home. Sentinel newspapers make the perfect keepsake. So it's second and short here for HFL after they took their timeout. Brian Finn is still the tailback on the field. He'll shift to Meacham's left. Here's the snap. Meacham to throw. Rolls out to his left. Scanning the field. Waiting. Throws it. It's intercepted by Rochester Prep. Going the other way is the Tigers. And Meacham jumps on his back and is able to bring him down. So the Tigers get their second turnover of the night. This time it's an interception. Meacham just waiting and ends up getting intercepted. That's Doyle Spearman on the interception. The junior for Rochester Prep. Ends up with a decent return too, so it'll be 1st and 10 now for the Tigers. So 6:22 to go in the second quarter. Cougars thought that they were maybe going to tack some more points on, but the Tiger defense had other ideas. With their captain, Jameer Doyle Spearman, intercepting Meacham. We'll see what the Tigers can do here offensively. Here's the snap. Handoff goes to Scott Harris, and he'll get about a yard there on first down. Looks like Patrick Adair there was on the tackle for HFL. Second and 9 for Rochester Prep. High snap, broken play. And quarterback tried to throw it, but they're going to say he was in the grasp, so that'll be a sack on the play. And Burgos Brock is slow to get up. He looks like he might stay in. Can see him jogging to the far sideline. Definitely playing through a bit of pain here. So he ended up losing 7 there. So that's going to lead to 3rd and 16. As we've got a timeout here by Rochester Prep. Their second of the half. This timeout brought to you by the MHFL Sentinel. The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel has been proudly providing community news for 35 years. Since 1989, the Sentinel is a weekly community print newspaper that is proud to call this area their home. Sentinel newspapers make the perfect keepsake. We've got about 4:37 to go in this second quarter. And I'm going solo here in the press box tonight on the mic. My normal broadcast partner, Steve Bradley, out of town for a wedding. Although I am joined by Luke Mendrick operating our instant replay for tonight, so I'm not alone. But also got our camera operator up top, Chris Carosa, who's capturing all the action as The Rochester Prep Tigers facing 3rd and 16. Tosses up a pass, and that's going to end up sailing out of bounds.
Incomplete, out of bounds. It's going to bring a 3rd down and long.
So it's 4th down now for Rochester Prep. 4th and 16 with 4 minutes to go here.
Correction on that, folks. It's 20 unit on.
So the punt team on the field now for the Tigers.
Incomplete pass.
Back deep here is Grady Goodburlett for HFL. Here's the punt. That's going to be fielded by the other HFL player. Looked like it was Austin Coyle. No, check that. That was Chase Harrison. And HFL's offense going to come out on the field here. They're going to say that he was possessed the ball while he was down. So it's going to be a 1st and 10 for the HFL offense. Ball at the 34-yard line for the Cougars. .320 to go here in the second quarter. As Finn is the tailback to Meacham's left. Handoff will go to Finn. Finn breaks through the first tackle, and then he's going to be taken down by a group of Rochester Prep Tigers after he picks up about 5 yards there. So it'll be 2nd and 5 now for the Cougars. And for another consecutive series, the Cougars rolling with the extra down lineman, freshman, number 49, Johnny Gutierrez, as that handoff goes to Finn, and he's got more than enough for the first down. He's tackled at about the 47-yard line. That first down brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. If you're looking for the brands you grew up with, HFMP has got you covered. New set of downs for this Cougar offense. Meacham looking to hand off to Finn. Snap wasn't there. Or rather, the handoff, the mesh point was not there. Meacham just has to pick it up. It was a bit of a low snap, but Meacham was able to recover, and then the handoff wasn't clean. He picked it up off the turf, and he was tackled by the Tigers for a sack. It'll be 2nd and 18 now for HFL. Clock under 90 seconds to go here before halftime. We'll see how aggressive HFL gets. Meacham to throw. Lofts up a pass over the middle of the field in the direction of Goodburlett. Looks like he might have had a step on the defender. We'll take another look at that one. Running a seam route here. Got separation at the last second, but pass was just a little bit too far inside for Burlett to make a play on it. So it'll be 3rd and 18 for HFL. Here's 3rd and 18 for HFL. 4-receiver set. Finn to Meacham's left. Meacham to throw. We've got whistles. And Rochester Prep elects to take their final timeout of the half before HFL can snap the ball. This timeout brought to you by the Mendon-Honeoye Falls Sentinel, who's been proudly providing local community news for 35 years. Since 1989, the Sentinel is a weekly community print newspaper that has been proud to call this area their home. Sentinel newspapers make the perfect keepsake. For those of you at home noticing the players wearing pink tonight, Well, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Night here at HFL. They had a 50-50 raffle to benefit charity. As the Cougars come out after the Rochester Prep timeout, facing 3rd and 18. This time they come out in a different formation, trips to the near sideline. Meacham to pass. Meacham waits, throws it up towards Goodburlett, who's got it at midfield. But he's going to be shy about a yard. It's going to be 4th and 1. We'll see what HFL elects to do here. Stop was made in the field of play, which means the clock runs. We're at about 44 seconds right now. Cougars with 2 timeouts. Cougars taking a lot of time here, 30 seconds now. Meacham tries the hard count, and it looks like we've got a flag. False start is against HFL. So that'll move the Cougars back. So it goes from a 4th and 1 to a 4th and 6. So about 22 seconds to go here in the first half. Cougars 4th and 6, leading Rochester Prep 21-0. Finn again to Meacham's left. 4 receiver set. Here's the pass. Meacham throws over the middle of the field, again in the direction of Goodburlett, and it falls incomplete. 4 seconds to go here, so it'll be a turnover on downs by the HFL offense. We'll see what the Tigers do here. They did defer, having won the coin toss, so they'll receive to start the second half of play. 4 seconds, the ball is at the Rochester Prep 49-yard line. Here we go. Potentially the last play of the half. It's going to be a fumble. A couple of different players with a chance at it. And we never got an official ruling. So the half is here. We'll take a quick commercial timeout, and then we'll look at some first half highlights, break the game down, and what to expect in the second half. Thanks for tuning in to the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel live on YouTube.
Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Fresh breads, donuts, special cakes made every day from scratch. Our butcher still cuts your meats to order. Doesn't get any better than that. Hot pizza, fish fries on Friday. Order your favorite sub right here. Organic foods and healthy choices. And beer, lots of beer. Honeoye Falls Marketplace. We're true blue local. Uncompromised quality close to home.
Tonight's game also brought to you by Bullfinch Fund. Fans who are sitting on IRA money that they don't know what to do with, or those who want to take control of their 401k money left at an old employer, should give Bullfinch a call at 624-3150. Do you know a working teenager can become a retirement millionaire just by starting a child IRA? Want to learn more? Call your local mutual fund, the Bullfinch Fund, at 624-3150. Bullfinch Fund. Invest right here. Tonight's game also sponsored by Meehan Architecture. With the Meehan Architecture Sports Update, the Varsity girls swimming and diving team have their final regular season meet of the year this evening at Hilton. Sectionals begin on November 1st. Meanwhile, the doubles pair of Hazel Jokel and Ava Youngblood for the girls' varsity tennis team are competing in the state individual tournament next week at the USTA Billie Jean King National Tennis Center in Flushing, New York. Meanwhile, the team as a whole will compete against Lewiston Porter tomorrow afternoon at the Mendon Racket Club in regionals. So we are at halftime here at HFL. We'll take another quick timeout here, and we'll have some first half highlights to show, break those down, and what to expect in this second half. Cougars leading 21-0 over the visiting Rochester Prep Tigers. You're watching Section 5 Class B football live on the Sentinel. We are back here live at Honeoye Falls-Lima. Score is 21-0 Cougars over the Rochester Prep Tigers. We'll take a quick look at those first half highlights here. Starting off the score tonight was running back Brian Finn finding the Meehan Architecture end zone from about a yard out. And then a little bit later, it was Nate Meacham tossing the ball out to Grady Goodburlett. That gave us a 14-0 score. And then it was the HFL defense, with Ben Feinberg from the cornerback position jumping the route and finding the end zone. That got us to 21-0. And when the Cougars were knocking on the doorstep to potentially score again, it was Rochester Prep intercepting the ball. And that was Jameer Doyle Spearman with the interception. And that's what has gotten us here to 21-0. So for the second half of play, we're going to try something that we've never done before. We're going to have our replay operator, Luke Mendrick, join us on the call. Luke, how's it going tonight?
It's going well, Pete. It's nice to finally join you after sitting by your side all these games.
So as I mentioned, Steve Bradley on vacation here for a wedding, so try to do it solo and between the sore throat and everything else going on. Figured for the folks at home it might be a little bit more entertaining to not solely hear my voice for this second half of play. What are your thoughts on the first half, Luke?
I like what I'm seeing from both sides. I'm seeing a lot of athleticism. I think if Rochester Prep's able to clean up their game maybe a little bit, they might have some more success going on the field, especially with some of the high snaps. I'm seeing some turnovers on both sides, really. But
yeah, turnover battle is, I believe, tied. We never got an official indication at the end of half who recovered that. But both teams with turnovers in this one. As you mentioned, the high snaps have been a bit of an issue. But as you mentioned, the athleticism of the quarterback, Burgos Brock, able to recover after the high snaps and throw the ball out of bounds to just result in no loss of yardage has been critical for Rochester Prep. And there's been a couple penalties on offense that have set them back. They've really been impressive when they've been handing the ball off to Drevian Scott Harris. He's been their leading producer here tonight on offense, as both teams are coming back out on the field.
yeah, and I'm interested to see if they try the run game a little bit more in the second half. I think, again, a lot of their trouble has been coming in the air, but we'll see.
Yeah, we don't have official stats, but I want to say the amount of completions they've had on offense are definitely, in the single digits. So, like you said, Luke, seeing if maybe they can just be a little bit more productive. They did have a first down on their, I believe, fourth offensive possession, and it was thanks to Scott Harris. So maybe just trying to string together a couple of positive running plays by Scott Harris. And like I said, at the end of the half, they will get the ball here to start. Certainly cooled off here once the sun went down. It's turned into a chilly fall night here on the campus of Honeoye Falls-Lima. Fortunately, we're in the press box where it's a couple degrees, I'll say, warmer than outside for the folks who are braving the cold tonight on this Thursday night.
No rain yet.
No, I mean, we expected to see rain at kickoff, and then we expected to see it maybe closer to 6:30, and the rain never showed up. So the key to the game, weather conditions, the slippery ball, the wetness, it hasn't really had the opportunity to play a factor here. But both teams having turnovers regardless. As HFL will kickoff here to start the second half. The second half. And this is Ezra Gathercole with the ball teed up for the Cougars, looking to get us started here in the second half of play. And a deep end-over-end kick going to be fielded by Rochester Prep. This is number 11, Doyle Spearman. Or check that, that's Scott Harris with one man to beat. And he ends up actually getting caught from behind. He's up past midfield. So it's about just what the doctor ordered here for this Rochester Prep Tiger team.
Yeah, fantastic return, and hopefully that'll give him some momentum heading into the second half here. Just great work.
Yeah, and it was Drevian Scott Harris, who has been definitely no question the best player for Rochester Prep when he's had the ball in his hands tonight. Wouldn't be shocked if they give it right back to him here and see if they can string together some positive plays and maybe even put points up on the board. 1st and 10, Rochester Prep, ball at the 45-yard line. Handoff goes to Scott Harris, and he breaks the tackle. Reverses direction. Quarterback out in front, leading him. He's at the 30, the 20, the 10, 5, and into this end zone. Scott Harris scores for Rochester Prep. And Luke, we couldn't have scripted anything better for him here to start the second half.
Yes, sir, Pete. I mean, just great adaptability there, breaking that tackle. I thought he was down for sure there, but wow, he reversed it and brought it all the way to the end zone.
So we had the opening return past midfield. They give him the ball, and he gets the rest of the yards on the first play from scrimmage. And it gives Rochester Prep their first points of the night here with 11:35 to go here in the third quarter. Rochester Prep will go for 2. On the 2-point play, we do have some flags here. Look like some pre-snap motion by the offense, and that's what it is. So it goes from a 2-point conversion from the 2-yard line to a 2-point conversion from the 7-yard line. Play clock down to 5 seconds. They got to get the snap here. 2, 1. Play clock is at 0. And the flag comes out again. So this is a 2-point conversion for Rochester Prep. That's now going to be from what started at the 2-yard line. It's going to get marched back another 5 yards. So that's going to be from the 12-yard line. Low snap this time. Quarterback under pressure, tosses up towards the end zone, and that's going to be initially caught and then dropped by an HFL player, Chase Harrison. So no good on the 2-point conversion, but let's take another look at that running play. It goes down as a 45-yard rushing touchdown for Drevian Scott Harris and the Rochester Prep Tigers. So they cut the 3-score game into a 2-score game on the first play from scrimmage in the third quarter.
Yeah, you love to see it, Pete. I mean, they could be right back in this game.
So now the onus sort of shifts to the defense, who was able to generate 2 turnovers against this HFL offense in the first half. They can do it again, might give them even more momentum as this third quarter progresses on. Short kick, takes a bounce, fielded by Goodberlet. Goodberlet cuts it inside, then outside, makes a man miss. He's past midfield, where he's then tripped up at about the 45-yard line. So now both teams with tremendous returns on kickoffs to start this third quarter here.
I was just going to say, what an answer to that previous return.
And they're going to mark it at the 45-yard line. Luke, you think the Cougars can do the same thing and go one play, 45 yards?
I'll put money on it.
Here we go, 1st and 10. Handoff goes to Finn. Finn straight ahead. And Finn's got the first down, powering ahead. Gets tackled at about the 38-yard line. Check that, 33-yard line. That first down brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. If you're looking for a quick meal on a Tuesday night, a hot and delicious large cheese and pepperoni from HFMP is only $12.99.
All right, double or nothing, Pete.
1st and 10. Ball at the 33-yard line. Handoff goes right back to Finn. Finn breaks it through the first line of defenders and then tackled at about the 21, 22-yard line. That's enough to move the chains again. Cougar first down brought to you by HFMP. After the game, grab a certified Angus steak from the butchers at HFMP. About 10:30 to go here in the third quarter. Cougars trying to answer after Rochester Prep scored on their first possession of the second half. Here's the snap. Handoff again to Finn. And he's going to be wrapped up. That was number 75, Jason Williams for the Tigers.
Jason Williams, Tigers on the tackle.
We'll call it 2nd and 2 for the Cougars. Brian Finn still in the backfield for the Cougars. He'll shift to Meacham's left. Handoff goes to Finn. And Finn is going to get first contact after about 3 yards by number 11, Dravian Scott Harris. But it'll be enough for a first down, brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Our bakers arrive in the wee hours of the morning to handcraft HFMP's signature scratch donuts.
I'll tell you what, Pete, Finn is just so good at falling forward on those run plays.
So it'll actually be 1st and goal for the Cougars here. Handoff to Finn. Finn had to break through contact in the backfield, but he ends up gaining about maybe 4 yards there. Take another look here. And it's Scott Harris who met him to bring him down. So he's been their guy on both sides of the football here in the second half. 2nd and goal, ball from the 6-yard line. About 8.5 to go in the third quarter. Ben Feinberg checks in as a up back on the left side. And the handoff goes to Finn, who gets tackled at about the 1-yard line. Thought there was a chance maybe he could fall forward over the goal line.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a lot of this in the first half, but they just keep marching this down the field.
Yeah, credit to the offensive line for HFL. Been able to get the initial push, which has allowed their running backs to go a couple yards before actually having to deal with a defender as the handoff goes to Finn, and again, untouched, into the end zone. Brian Finn finds the Meehan Architecture end zone for the second time tonight, and the Cougars answer that Rochester Prep touchdown. So here comes Ezra Gathercole to attempt the point after. Cougars find the end zone with about 10.5 to go. Kick is up. And the kick is good. Check that. 7.5 to go, not 10.5. 7.5 to go here in the third quarter.
Yeah, just a great touchdown. And I've only done two games with you this season, but what did you say the stats of the kicker is? I mean, he's made every single kick I've been here
24 for 24.
That's unreal.
And football's not even his main sport.
Really?
So he plays soccer. This year he's actually playing soccer for HFL. Last year he played with an unaffiliated non-school team. But this year he's playing for the HFL soccer team, and we've talked with head coach John Russ, and he has raved about Ezra Gathercole, and he's trying to sell him on maybe considering playing the kicking position at the next level, but it seems like Gathercole prefers the going down the soccer route. So he'll have a chance here to, again, showcase his kicking ability on this kickoff. And last time it was the Tigers who were able to bring the ball out past midfield, returned it all the way to the HFL 45-yard line, and they only needed one play to score. As the kick goes right back to number 11, Scott Harris. He's trying to do it again, and he's going to be caught from behind, but he'll get up to about the 36-yard line. So that's where Rochester Prep will come back on the field. 7:07 to go in the third quarter. Second offensive possession for the Tigers. And you got to think that this play is going to be going to Scott Harris, right, Luke?
Absolutely.
And he's in the backfield to the left of Burgos Brock. And instead it's a pass play. Tosses one over the middle, and that's going to be caught. That's number 12, Christopher Holmes.
What a great catch.
He reels it in. He's in HFL territory. Ball's going to be inside the 45-yard line. We'll call it at the HFL 38. Here's another look at that catch. Took a bit of a hit, though, to reel it in. That was Austin Coyle. And it looks like Holmes is going to be a little slow to get up as there's some trainers taking a look at him at about where he was tackled. But it'll be 1st and 10. Rochester Prep find themselves back in HFL territory on their second possession of this second half.
And like we said, they're just finding some success on the ground there. Now, maybe some in the air too.
Yeah, again, we don't have the stats, but I got to think that's one of their first completions of the game, and definitely by far their best. I mean, a lot of the stuff has been, trying to work the sidelines, short passes. They did have the interception, but just the run game has started to come alive a little bit in the second half of the first half, and then they had the 45-yard score, and I think as a result that might open up the passing game a little bit here. So a new set of downs for Rochester Prep. Ball at the HFL 38-yard line. Handoff goes to Scott Harris, but there's a pair of HFL defenders. That's Chris Settles and Blake Fisher meeting Scott Harris in the backfield. Just too many guys to break through there. And he's going to lose about 3 yards, so it'll be 2nd and 13. As we hit about the halfway point here of the third quarter, both teams scored when they had the ball. Rochester Prep on their second possession here, trying to put points on the board again. And here's the snap. Burgos Brock to throw, and he's going to be sacked for a loss. That's Brian Finn, the outside linebacker, blitzing on that play. And that results in a significant loss of yardage. Looks like they're going to mark it on the other side of the 50 at the 49-yard line of Rochester Prep.
Yeah.
So 3rd and very long here.
That's a huge sack for the Cougars.
It's going to go down as a 3rd and 24. So not a whole lot of plays in the playbook to pick up 24 yards. I think if you're Rochester Prep in this situation, you're just trying to get at least half of it back on this play and then set yourself up with a certainly more manageable 4th down. Here's the 3rd down play. Burgos Brock under pressure, and he's dropped hard. And that's senior defensive tackle Patrick Adair with the sack. So that set of downs began at the HFL 38-yard line, and now Rochester Prep facing 4th down, and the ball is at the Rochester Prep 35-yard line. This is 4th down, and we'll call it 41 here. 4th and 41, obvious punting situation. So the Cougar defense steps up after giving up a 45-yard rushing touchdown on the Tigers' opening play of the second half. Very high snap. Good Burlett trying to block that one. Takes a Rochester Prep bounce out of bounds on their side of the 50. So Cougars will start with the ball here in Tiger territory. About 4 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. As HFL brings in Benny Feinberg at running back. It was Finn who was the bell cow on the last series. We'll see if Feinberg serves that role on this drive. Handoff goes to Feinberg, and he's going to be met in the backfield, and that's number 68, Demir Brewer, the freshman for Rochester Prep, making a nice tackle on Feinberg. It's going to be a loss of 1. 2nd and 11 for HFL. As we mentioned, both these teams will be playing in the sectional tournament. They'll be on the bye next week with only 4 teams in Class B. There's only a semifinal round and a final round of the playoffs. Here's the handoff to Finn. Finn breaks a tackle at the, almost broke the tackle at the line to gain. So that'll be a 1st down for HFM or for HFL, which is brought to you by HFMP. Nothing says autumn like locally pressed Schutz preservative-free apple cider on sale for only $4.99 per gallon every Sunday at Honeoye Falls Marketplace.
The kid can run, Pete.
New set of downs for HFL. Yeah, Finn's been on one tonight. He's had a tremendous evening here. Thursday night high school football as the ball goes back to Finn, breaks through the arm tackle, and then he's caught from behind. That's number 51, Jose Cole. So it still ends up being a gain of about 5 for the Cougars. A lot of effort there by Finn to get 5, but ball at the 30-yard line now. Feinberg comes in at the up back position. Cougars loading up the box here. Only 2 receivers on the field. Pretty obvious run formation, and they go right to a pass. It's Meacham throwing over the middle of the field in direction of Johnny Gutierrez. He's playing tight end tonight for HFL. Had all of us convinced the heavy set, and they go with the play action boot. But falls incomplete. 3rd and 5 now for HFL. Big play here for the Rochester Prep defense. If they can make a stop here, they're going to have to make the HFL offense make a decision. Handoff to Finn. Finn powering ahead with a couple defenders on his back. Keeps driving inside the 20. So he gets the 1st down for HFL. Brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Looking for a convenient dinner after practice? HFMP serves delicious, hand-battered, hot and crispy fried chicken every day, along with our juicy rotisserie chickens.
Yeah, great effort by Finn, just taking that defender along with him.
We get a whistle here. Looks like an injured player for Rochester Prep. Yeah, as you mentioned, Luke, individual effort by Finn tonight. It's been pretty impressive, and the first down and more results in HFL having to make a decision. You know, we know what they have with Gathercole and the confidence they have with him, but don't even have to make a decision, thanks to Finn. As I can't read the number here of the injured player for the Tigers. We have 32 seconds left in the third quarter, so that's number 51. Jose Cole, who's been making a couple of different plays here tonight for this Tiger defense. He's able to jog off under his own power. Always good to see. So with 32 seconds left, HFL will probably have to run only one more play if they want to. So the clock will roll after the injury. So differential on the play clock and the game clock is enough where HFL doesn't have to run a play here. They can just take it down to the quarter. Cougars again rolling with that heavy set formation. They do run a play. It goes to Finn, and Finn is going to be tackled by number 52 for Rochester Prep, and that'll do it for the first quarter. We'll take check that third quarter. We'll take a quick commercial timeout here from HFL
Honeoye
and then get ready for the fourth.
Marketplace. Fresh breads, donuts, special cakes made every day from scratch. Our butcher still cuts your meats to order. Doesn't get any better than that. Hot pizza, fish fries on Friday. Order your favorite sub right here. Organic foods and healthy choices. And beer, lots of beer. Honeoye Falls Marketplace. We're true blue local. Uncompromised quality close to home.
Tonight's game also brought to you by Bullfinch Fund. Fans who are sitting on IRA money that don't know what to do with, or those who want to take control of their 401k money left at an old employer should give Bullfinch a call at 624-3150. Did you know a working teenager can become a retirement millionaire just by starting a child IRA? Want to learn more? Call your local mutual fund, the Bullfinch Fund, at 624-3150. Bullfinch Fund. Invest right here. And tonight's game also brought to you by Meehan Architecture. With the Meehan Architecture HFL Sports Update, girls volleyball is hosting Newark this evening in the HFL A-Gym in their last regular season match. The girls team is currently in 7th place in the sectional standings with a record of 9-9. The sectional tournament begins next week, as it's the fourth quarter here at HFL. And it's 2nd and 7 for the Cougars. First play of the fourth quarter, hand off to Finn. Finn straight ahead, pass a 10, inside the 5, and he's going to be tackled. And they're going to say touchdown. Finn with the effort to reach over the plane. And the Cougars score on the first play of the fourth quarter.
Like you said, Pete, great effort once again by Finn, and he just sneaks that ball in.
So Cougars 34, Tigers 6. Here's Gathercole to attempt the point after. Snap, hold, kick is away, kick is up, kick is good. Remains perfect on the season. So 11:39 to go in the fourth quarter. And the Cougars will be kicking off back to Rochester Prep. And for a moment there in that early third quarter, Luke, there was a possibility where it seemed like Rochester Prep had an opportunity But with HFL answering and then tacking on another touchdown there, looks like the door is quickly closing on Rochester Prep, able to get back in this one.
Yep, seemed like they were getting some momentum there. What do you expect to see out of them, out of this quarter?
Rochester Prep, I think, again, just trying to build on the success that they've had. They've been able to move the ball certainly better in this second half. And again, everyone's staying healthy. We know both these teams are going to be playing in the playoffs in 2 weeks, and just trying to, again, just build on the positive plays. As here's a sky kick by HFL, going to be fielded by number 6, Tyler Buford. And Buford will be tackled at the Rochester Prep 30-yard line. So that's where the Rochester Prep offense will start. So as the standings currently sit here in Class B, it's the undefeated 1 seed Monroe Red Jackets, number 2 Batavia Blue Devils, number 3 HFL Cougars, and number 4 Rochester Prep Tigers. And I believe the way that the sectional power seeding works is there's a pretty low likelihood that any of the teams are really going to shift at all. As here's a nice scamper here after the catch by number 1 Jameer Doyle Spearman. And it's going to be enough for a first down for Rochester Prep. So they're up past the 40-yard line. So again, going back to the sectional standings. So again, I think because of the way that the math works out, it's going to be pretty hard for any of the teams to shift from where they currently sit. As Monroe hands off to Scott Harris. And it looks like that's number 56 for the Cougars, Blake Fisher, who made the tackle. Call it a 2nd and 9. So with those standings, that means that HFL would travel to Batavia to play in the semifinal round, and Rochester Prep would visit Monroe. Second and 9 now for the Tigers. Handoff again to Scott Harris. And it's Blake Fisher yet again with a first contact. And then Patrick Adair helping clean that up. So that'll be a tackle for a loss on 2nd down. Bring up 3rd and long for the Tigers.
Yep, great job just getting through that line and making that tackle.
And that HFL Batavia contest is certainly going to be an interesting one. The two teams have developed a rivalry since both playing consistently at the Class B level. They've met each other twice in the Section 5 championship game, and they've played each other, I believe, at least one other time in the playoffs. So outside of those championships. So they played each other in week 1, as this pass is going to fall incomplete, out of bounds. Bring up 4th and 14 for the Tigers. So HFL caught Batavia in week 1, and it was Batavia who ended up beating HFL by a final score of 41-10. They had 3 scores on defense and special teams in that matchup. But that was September 5th. So that's going to be about 2 months between when HFL and Batavia will play each other again. So both teams obviously playing a full slate of games, and will probably look a heck of a lot different than when they play each other, as we have a timeout called by the Tigers. That timeout brought to you by the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel. They've been proud to provide local community news for over 35 years since 1989. The Sentinel is a weekly community print newspaper that has been proud to call this area their home. The Sentinel newspapers make the perfect keepsake. So 4th and 14. Rochester Prep keeping the offense on the field with 7:30 to go here in the fourth quarter. Here's a snap. Burgos Brock launches it, and that's intercepted by HFL. Number 6, Shane Sampson intercepts that pass. So Cougars actually would have been in a better situation to have batted that ball down from a field position standpoint, but interception shows up on the stat sheet. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Cougars. Ball at their own 28-yard line. Under 7 minutes to play. Expect them to probably just try and run as much clock as they can here as we march towards the halfway point of the fourth quarter. Cougars with a commanding 35-6 lead over the Rochester Prep Tigers. Looks like we may have a quarterback change for HFL. We do. It's Ben Feinberg checking in. And we have Sam Oliver again in the backfield. Handoff goes to Oliver. And Oliver will gain about 3 or 4 yards there on first down.
By the way, shout out to Oliver. He made some great runs in the first half. It's great to see.
Yeah, I
him.
believe Sam Oliver had 3 first downs in a row running the ball. So, just with the depth at the running back position, hasn't had a chance to get too many carries this year. Came into the game with about, I think, 7 carries, and at the pace he's going, he might end up doubling that by the time tonight's over. As here's a Ben Feinberg run inside the 30, the 20, the 10, 5, touchdown. Ben Feinberg finds the Meehan Architecture end zone on the quarterback keep. Just the old-fashioned QB read. He pulls it. Gets some nice downfield blocks from Shane Sampson, who had the interception. And Feinberg does the rest. So Cougars now with 41 points on the night. As Gathercole is back on the field to attempt a point after. Kick is up. Kick is good.
He keeps the perfect record.
Keeps the perfect record. You said it, Luke. Take one last look at that quarterback keep. And for the HFL fans at home, I think that's what you should expect next fall, is a heavy dose of Benny Feinberg running. He really had his coming out party against East, and then what he did against Monroe, having over 30 carries in that game, has just shown his grit and his toughness, and coaching staff speaks very highly of him and his ability to run the ball and what he brings to the table. And as a sophomore, he's got a lot of games ahead of him in a Cougar uniform. So we're just under 4 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. Cougars kicking off again. This is Ezra Gathercole. This time he elects for the deep kick, end over end. It's going to be fielded inside the Tiger 10-yard line. This is number 1 for Rochester Prep. That's Doyle Spearman, who refuses to go down. Eventually will. Able to work it all the way out to the 23-yard line.
Yeah, and like you said, we're able to evade a number of tackles there.
So as we go into the waning minutes here of the fourth quarter, HFL defense substituting some players. We had a chance to talk with head coach John Russ about last week's victory, 49-14 over Maritime Tapestry on senior night, and he was somewhat shocked at the final score and the way that the game went, but he said probably the happiest thing about, besides winning, was the opportunity to get guys playing time, as this pass is going to be intercepted by the Cougars. And that's Shane Sampson again, his second interception of the game. To close the loop on that conversation with head coach John Russ, getting guys playing time who, just the way that the tough Class A schedule that Class B HFL has had to play hasn't allowed for some of the depth players to get meaningful snaps on offense or defense. And that game was like the first game that they've had all year where they had the opportunity to do so. The guys who are at every practice and are at every game, giving them the opportunity to make plays on the field, was definitely his highlight of last week, as Feinberg still in at quarterback with Oliver in the backfield. As we have a stoppage in play, we're at 2:10 to go here. Timeout called by Rochester Prep. Their second timeout. This timeout brought to you by the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel, who's been proudly providing local community news for 35 years since 1989. The Sentinel is a weekly community print newspaper that is proud to call this area their home. Sentinel newspapers make the perfect keepsake. And as this probably will be our final broadcast of the 2025 season, I want to give a special thank you to the Sentinel, who give us the opportunity to broadcast all of these home HFL games, and a special thank you to our sponsors, because without them we wouldn't be able to do it either. Special thank you to our crew throughout the entire season. Tonight's crew up on camera on top of the press box, Chris Carosa, and we've got Luke Mendrick pulling double duty, instant replay, as well as special guest on the mic. Thanks, Luke, for all your help this season. It's been a fun one.
Yeah, and a great sack there by the Tigers. But I'm glad to help out here, Pete, and to throw some credit back towards you. Doing the commentating tonight and also doing the scoreboard. So a man of many talents.
Yep, sometimes you got to wear multiple hats.
That's right.
And tonight's one of them. So as you mentioned, there was a sack there on first down for HFL, so it'll bring up 2nd and 15. As we hit the 1 minute mark, Cougars are just trying to drain as much as the play clock as possible before taking a snap. So we are at a minute to go. Play clock's at 20 seconds. Cougars in victory formation. They'll be able to take a knee just probably one time here, judging by the difference between the play clock and the game clock. And they have just enough time. So that's the last snap of the night. So that'll be the final score for us here. Cougars cap off the regular season with a 42-6 victory over the visiting Rochester Prep Tigers. We'll take a quick look at the highlights before signing off. Luke, you got them queued up. And when it was still light out, here's the opening score for HFL. Running back Brian Finn from 2 yards out. That got the Cougars up by 7. And then a little bit later, Nate Meacham passing the ball to Grady Goodburlett for the score, giving the Cougars a 14-0 lead. And then it was the HFL defense adding 6. Ben Feinberg, his first of 2 touchdowns this evening. This one was on defense. We'll have his offensive touchdown a little bit later in the highlight reel. And then Rochester Prep able to force the interception against Meacham deep into Tiger territory. That was Doyle Spearman on the interception for Rochester Prep. And then the first play from scrimmage to start the second half, it was Dravian Scott Harris with the 45-yard rushing touchdown to get the Tigers on the board. And then on the next drive, the Cougars answered with a similar touchdown as the first one. It was just a handoff to Brian Finn, who scored from a yard out. And then Brian Finn with his third touchdown of the night. He got the hat trick. And then Benny Feinberg, quarterback keep, takes it all the way. And that's what got us to our final, HFL 42, Tigers 6. As I mentioned, both teams will be playing in the first round of the playoffs. In 2 weeks' time, HFL likely will play at Batavia, and the Tigers will be playing at Monroe. So until next year, likely, thanks so much for tuning in to the Sentinel in our coverage of all of the home Honeoye Falls-Lima varsity football games. Until next season, I'm Peter Carosa signing off one last time. Thanks so much for tuning in.